Hello, hello everyone. Welcome to this international webinar in the context of the collaboration that we are promoting between Chile and Canada. We're just going to wait that everyone is connected. We have already over 90 participants. Great, that's perfect. Connecting. Okay, perfect. So we will start officially because it's already 3:07 here in Chile and 1:07 back in Canada. Thank you everyone for joining. As I was mentioning, this international webinar that we are hosting today is in the context of the collaboration that we are promoting between Chile and Canada through our public agencies, the National Research Council from Canada and Corfo in the side of Chile. I would like to start first by introducing some people that are participating from this international webinar. First, I would like to introduce Eric Holdrenet from the National Research Council. Hi, hola, Eric, from the National Research Council, which is the public agency that supports R&D and innovation, and they're also a member of the Eureka Network. So welcome, Eric. Also, I would like to introduce Oscar Canales from Andesmets, which is a company association that develops solutions and technology targeting the mining industry. Welcome, Oscar. Thank you also for joining us. We also have there Gonzalo Yun from Endeavor, this international network that promotes and supports entrepreneurship, high impact entrepreneurship. Thank you also for joining us. And I would like also to thank the Chilean and Canadian Chamber of Commerce, which has been a very active in supporting this international webinar. So, and also let me introduce myself. I am Jocelyn Olivari. I am the Innovation CEO from Corfo. Corfo is also part of the Eureka Network, and we are promoting also this international collaboration between Chilean and Canadian companies. And also, let me introduce you Cristian Casanueva, also from my team here at Corfo, and Catalina Mejia, also from Corfo, and Carolina Gonzalez. They are all part of my team. Let me just summarize a bit the context in which we are gathered today. Basically, what we want to do is to officially announce the collaboration that we are promoting between Chile and Canada, particularly in the context of the Eureka Network, because both countries are part of this largest network of innovation public agencies. We want to tell you how we are promoting this collaboration, basically with financial support, and we will go through all the details about this, and also through a matchmaking event that will happen very soon in the context of the Prospectors and Developers Association of Canada event soon in Toronto between 3 and the 6th of March. So let me just start with let me show you my presentation so I can start with some details. Okay, I will. Please, Christian, let me know if you can see this. Let me just.
You can see it.
In presenters mode?
All
good?
Yet. Maybe if you use slideshow, it's showing small.
Yep. This?
Yep, there we go. Yep,
okay, perfect. Great. So let me just go quickly through our schedule of today's agenda. First, I will start with a brief description of what is Corfo, which are our main goals from this public agency that supports innovation, and also some details about this call in particular that we are promoting together with the National Research Council. Then Eric Holdernett will let you know about what are going to be the procedures and how they are going to support this international collaboration between Chile and Canada. Then we will have also Oscar Canales, which will tell us a bit about their role in this in the context of this collaboration that we are promoting. And finally, we are going to have Gonzalo Yun, which is it's going to explain you some details regarding a matchmaking tool that we are going to put at your disposal to find your partner, because we are promoting a collaboration between Chilean and Canadian companies. And the first question is, where is my partner? Okay, how can I find my partner? And we will let you know everything about that and the platform that we will be using. Also, we will have Cristian Casanueva, which he will let you know a bit about this matchmaking event and some extra activities that you need to know. And we are gonna end up with a Q&A session. Having said this, let me just explain a bit who we are, who Corfo is. And Corfo is the main development agency, the economic development agency that promotes and fosters the competitiveness and the productive diversification of our country by encouraging investment, innovation, and also entrepreneurship. We have three main pillars in which we base our work. First, we provide grants and loans and some other instruments to finance every project that is led by companies, basically. So we are aiming our work to support the projects that companies are putting forward. The second pillar is targeted at promoting entrepreneurship, innovative entrepreneurship, also innovation and productive development. This is very important. We have a long, thin country in Chile, and we are promoting that every region throughout our country can develop a regional ecosystem, and that takes into consideration the specificities and the characteristics of each region of the country. So we want to promote the development of entrepreneurial ecosystems and innovation ecosystem in each region of the country and throughout all our country. And also the third pillar is related to this new industrial policy that we are promoting through in this current administration, in this government, which basically is this mission-oriented innovation policies. Okay, we are not targeting a specific companies or industries, but we are targeting missions, and I'm gonna let you know soon which missions we have chosen in this government that we want to target. And the idea is that we can promote entrepreneurship and innovation and technology development, for example, to promote addressing these missions that we have selected. Also, very important for us, we also work with this kind of horizontal pillars. We are always taking into consideration sustainability and gender equality, and as I mentioned before, the balanced regional development throughout our country. So regarding our missions, we have chosen 3 missions that we are targeting right now, and we are understanding this as a direction. We understand that our growth in our economy has a direction, and it should be sustainable, it should be smart, it should be also balance in terms of the regional development. And this means that we are targeting our efforts towards addressing, for example, the climate crisis. So resilience against the climate change crisis is something that we are targeting, also decarbonization and productive transformation. That means that we are promoting the development of innovations and entrepreneurship and some other technological projects aimed at addressing this particular missions. So in this context, at Corfo, we are supporting the development of R&D and innovation projects that are targeting some of these missions, not all of these missions, all of these missions, but also some other sectors that I will explain later on. But this is kind of an approach that we have embraced within this administration, this Chilean administration, and we are putting a particular effort in these 3 missions, okay? Having said this, one of the main strategies that we are implementing, other than providing grants and to promote R&D and innovation projects at the Chilean and the national level, we are also promoting the development of R&D and innovation projects in collaboration with some other countries, with some foreign companies from other countries. So in this context, we promote the development of R&D and innovation projects in the context, for example, of some bilateral agreements. We have some agreements with Germany, for example, with the Ministry of Economy and Climate Change. Also, we have an agreement with BTT from Finland, and we are also part of the Eureka Network, which is the largest network of public agencies that are supporting collaborative R&D and innovation projects. So in this context, I just want to show you a bit what is this Eureka Network, which was established in the year 1985, and it includes 47 countries that share this common goal of promoting and increasing productivity and the excellence of the industry. They want to foster competitiveness and market integration between all these 47 countries, supporting lasting employment and driving national economic growth. All of this through the collaboration in R&D and innovation projects. Through this network, we provide access to public funding because it's composed and by all this by the public agencies from these 47 countries. We also drive international collaboration. We want companies and organizations and universities and research centers that are collaborating in the context of a research and development and innovation project. We want also through these projects that are developed to reach new markets, different markets in the context of the collaboration of this project, and also offer personalized advice. This is very important because we provide support to the companies and to all the organizations that apply and are supported by these agencies that are part from this network. We support projects that have a civilian purpose. Also, we need at least 2 countries, 2 companies or 2 organizations from the countries that are part of the Eureka Network. So at least we need 2 of them in the context of the support that we provide. We aim at projects that want to develop and apply R&D to develop a new product, a new process, or a new service that is innovative, that it's novel, and that will certainly have a high impact in the markets that it targets. We have also kind of a bottom-up approach, market-oriented projects that will be decided by the companies which it's basically on what they want to bring forward through the market. And here on the right side of your screen, you have all the 47 countries that are part of this Eureka network. Canada and Chile are part of them as well. There are 5 programs within this Eureka network platform. We have the clusters, which facilitates funding for industry-led mid to long-term R&D projects. They focus on specific technologies and specific sectors. I will let you know a bit some of this a bit later. We have the investment readiness program, which supports the collaboration between innovative SMEs and investors or large companies. The Eurostars program, which is basically aimed at funding R&D and innovation projects within the European countries from the European Union that can come in collaboration with countries from outside, but there should be always a country from the European Union. Also, this Innovate program that funds innovative SMEs to assess the viability of commercial or research ambitions for internalization in a target country. And finally, the network projects, which is what is we're gonna explain more in detail today, because we are supporting the collaboration between Chile and Canada through this program, through the network projects, which is a bottom-up cooperation project where national funding bodies collaborate and promote a call, for example, in this case between Chile and Canada, to fund R&D and innovation projects. It's a more flexible kind of funding as compared to, for example, the clusters program. And I will explain a bit later all the details about this network projects. Still, I would like to discuss a bit about the clusters, because even though today we're promoting the collaboration between Chile and Canada through the network project program, you can still participate from the Eureka clusters. In this case, there are 5 different clusters. Chile is actively supporting 2 clusters, which is, the first one is Eureka, which is targeting clean technologies. They have this kind of 5D principles. So they want to fund projects that are aligned with decarbonization, with democratization, digitalization, deregulation, and decentralization. These projects require at least 2 countries, but the kind of the structure of this consortium projects are different companies and research, for example, organizations or universities that want to collaborate in addressing a specific R&D and innovation project in the context of climate technologies. There's an open call right now, which has a deadline on March the 2nd. It is this new call on low carbon technologies. And so you should definitely have a look at this call, because here at Corfo, we will still promote the development of R&D and innovation project in the context of this clean technologies cluster. Also, we are promoting the participation of Chilean companies in the SMART cluster, which is aimed at smart manufacturing, intelligent adaptive manufacturing systems, sustainable manufacturing, and some other topics. So right now the applications are closed, but soon they will launch a new call for the SMART cluster. So just to let you know, both Canada and Chile are supporting these classes, and there's so you can also participate in these classes. Having said that, let me just jump quickly into the Eureka Network projects. As I was, because it is the main instrument or the main program from the Eureka Network, which we will use to promote the collaboration between Chile and Canada. This program, the Eureka Network program, is a flexible funding program that supports R&D and innovation projects. We use our funding instruments and each of our rules. So we will use Corfo's rules to fund the Chilean partner, and Canada, the National Research Council, will use their rules, their evaluators, their instruments, their funding to support Canadian companies in the context of this collaboration project between Chilean and Canadian firms. What we want to do through this Eureka Network projects is to support you in whatever project that you want to put forward and to bring into the market. Even though we are open to all sectors and all industry, we are right now putting a bit of a target in clean technologies applied to the mining industry. So this is something that is important to notice. Which kind of projects we support. The project, well, first, of course, you need to have a partner, at least one partner from Chile and one partner from Canada. And it should reflect the cooperation and all the capabilities that each company from each country brings into this whole project. It must be directed, this project, towards researching and developing a new product, a new process, a new service that will have a civilian process, that will have a civilian purpose. And of course, these two partners from Chile and Canada in this context. Also, we have some track record supporting projects in the context of the Eureka Network program. We have had our participation since 2017 in the Eureka Network. We have had 24 applications. We have funded more than 3 million Canadian dollars in public grants to Chilean companies. In 2022, we did a multilateral call with Austria, with Belgium, with France and Spain, and we supported 4 projects between Chilean companies and these countries. That was very successful. We also have an open call right now. So if you don't want to collaborate with Canada, or if on top of that you want to collaborate with Chile, and it's a company from Belgium, from France, and Spain, we have this call open already. And we are targeting, and again, even though we support all sectors and all technologies, we highly encourage, or we are kind of targeting, or we are putting a bit our efforts to promote the development on R&D and innovation projects that focus on green technologies in energy, in water, farming, forestry, transport, circular economy, building construction, and pollution. So this is open, and the deadline for this is to apply until April 10th. So this is network projects between Chile and Belgium, France, and Spain. Yes. And now, what about Canada? We are promoting, as I mentioned, the collaboration with Canada. We have a long tradition sharing investment and technology, and in fact here we put an article which mentioned that in fact Canada was regarded as a top investor in Chile in 2023. And one of the sectors that we have in common with Canada is the mining industry. In the context of this collaboration that we are promoting, we want to support all R&D and innovation projects in all industrial sectors. This is very important. We support all industrial sectors, but again, we are targeting projects right now along the mining value chain that can promote a greener mining industry. So all sectors, but we will foster particularly, we are targeting projects that are targeting the mining industry. As I mentioned before, we have this mission-oriented innovation policies. We are targeting projects that can address decarbonization, that can address resilience against the climate crisis, and productive diversification and productive transformation. So that's why we are targeting projects that can transform, for example, the mining industry by developing greener, for example, technologies, or that can address decarbonization and how we can make the mining industry green. Okay, so that's the target of this call. It's not a call, but you can use the Eureka Network program to apply with a joint proposal to fund this joint proposal. So how is the application process going to work? In the case of Chile, we have 2 phases. Okay, as I mentioned before, we need 2 different countries from the 2 countries of this call. We need a Chilean company and we need a Canadian companies. And we have 2 mandatory phases. The first phase is the international phase. The second phase is the national phase. The first phase, the international phase, happens through the application to a joint proposal between a Chilean and a Canadian company to the Smart Simple platform, which is the application platform that the Eureka Network uses to receive all these collaborative projects. The phase 1 started already with the call opening of the network project. Basically, Canada, and I think Eric will just go this in further detail, but Canada has 2 open windows of applications for network projects from different and any country from the network project can come. In this case, we are also using this window, this frame, to promote also the application of Chilean companies to collaborate with Canadian companies. So it started already in January. In February. It's opened already. The 1st of February, it's the call for network projects in Canada is open. So that means that any project between Canada and Chile can apply to this. How do you apply? You need to develop a proposal. We are asking for different details of this joint proposal. You need to submit this joint proposal to the Smart Simple platform. And to do this, first, you need to find a partner. And that's where the matchmaking part comes in. And we are going to let you know how we are going to help you to find your match, your partner, in the context of preparing this proposal, this R&D and innovation proposal to be submitted the latest by May the 31st, which is a window that and the deadline that Canada has to receive this network projects proposal. And we are working with that same deadline in Chile. So once we receive your joint proposal, which will be submitted through the Smart Simple platform, we will have a look, each agency, Canada, and we will have a look. And in case of Chile, the selected proposals that were submitted to the Smart Simple platform and that have fulfilled our technical criteria, we will let them go and move forward to the second phase, which implies the application to national funding. So all collaborative projects between Chilean and Canadian firms that were positively assessed in this international phase will be invited to apply to the second phase, which is to apply for national funding to Corfo. This is only relevant for Chilean companies, okay, as part of this joint proposals, because we, Corfo, are going to fund our companies, the Chilean companies. The National Research Council is going to fund Canadian companies. So Chilean companies that were positively assessed will have to apply to national funding through the instrument Crea y Valida Eureka. Okay, this will happen around July. We will open our platform to receive the national application, and we will start communicating the decisions from August onwards. We need to agree, both the National Research Council and Chile, on supporting the project, and then it will receive the Eureka labeling and later on the Eureka endorsement. A bit on the details on the Chilean side. All interested companies, well, what we are supporting is basically the development of R&D and innovation projects. We have a differentiated grant according to the size of the company. At most, we will fund 220 million pesos to the Chilean partner. Okay, this is basically more than around 300,000 Canadian dollars. That's from the Chilean side. You can ask more details about this later in the Q&A. And if you have any concerns and questions about this, please write us at this difusioninnova@corfo.ca. This is from my side. Back to you, Christian, so you can let us know what's the next part.
Thank you very much, Jocelyn, for your presentation. Now we are moving into the Canadian side, and I will kindly ask to Eric Holdenet to present about the National Research Council of Canada. So, Eric, the stage is yours.
Thank you. I expect you seeing my screen that I'm sharing now.
We are, please.
So buenas tardes. It is between 10:30 and 2:30 p.m. across Canada, from Vancouver to Newfoundland. So the difference is that we have several time zones, different from Chile. We are part of the National Research Council of Canada. The Industrial Research Assistance Program is a component of that, and we can fund small and medium-sized enterprises that perform innovative R&D. We're all across the country. We provide what I call proximity service. So each Canadian firm that is onboarded into our program, they have to become part of IRAP's portfolio in order to get funding. They will have an advisor who will be their main link. The same way as if they were approaching a venture capital fund, there would be an analyst that would be their main link for their case in getting money. Our program provides several services. We serve over 8,000 clients annually, and we provide advice, connections, and funding. So additionally to the money that people come to us, they come to us for the money and they come back for all the other services that we provide. And we can spend time helping firms to connect also to global value chains and to work projects that are done in strategic partnership with partners abroad. We have several programs. This presentation focuses on the Eureka programs. We are active for Eureka Network Projects, Cluster Projects, and also Eurostar. So there was a presentation on Eureka. I will not double that. This is the map of all the countries. You can see that we're steadily adding new members beyond Europe, where Eureka was born in more than 30 years ago. And 2 years ago, a year and a half, Canada and South Korea, who had been associated members for a dozen years, became full members of Eureka. So we had Eureka change the rules to allow for countries outside of Europe to become full members if they want and are accepted. We have a track record since 2012. We started actually projects in 2013, 2014, a half dozen projects. Maybe we had $1 million, $1.5 million in funding. Now we're upwards of 30 million. So you can see the progression here. And we're having good success with a wide number of countries in this respect. And our funding over 10 years or more, about $100 million Canadian leverage, had a leverage factor of 1 to 10 in terms of the R&D that is supported. But the big numbers that you see is in the Eureka clusters. It's a lower number of projects, but each project is typically much bigger, a wide number of participants, and it can have big impact. I will talk briefly, and I will cover some of the ground that Jocelyn has covered, but from a different angle. So maybe you can learn something more. It's not a competition. You don't have to vote on which presentation was best. We're just trying to cover from different angles. So Canada and Chile, we can collaborate using the network instrument and the cluster instrument, as they are called in Eureka. The network, Eureka Network Project, the one that is covered by the call we're presenting today, is typically 2 to 4 participants from 2 to 3 countries. There are calls on the Eureka Network that are organized by different countries, working together, thematic or not, bilateral. And Canada has what is called a national call now, 2 times per year, where we will fund Canadian participants, and they can work with partners from any of the 47 or 46 other countries in Eureka. However, we will then discuss with the other countries in those projects to synchronize the evaluation and see what can be done. So Canada funds Eureka Network. We have funding, as I mentioned, for small and medium enterprises in Canada of up to 500 employees. They have to become or be accepted as NRC IRAP portfolio firms. Our funding is always grant type. Chile also funds. And I don't know if we said if it was grant type or loan, but many countries have a mixed loan grant or loans. So it varies from country to country who they fund and for what modalities in their funding. So the great feature of Eureka Network is that it adapts to national funding. Contrarily to other programs, you may hear about Horizon Europe, if you heard about that. This is very centralized, and it is one organization that does the disbursement. The funding contract is a central one. But here, if you're a Chilean participant and you get funding for a Eureka project, it will be a funding contract for Corfo, so it's something you might already know. It makes it much easier for national participants. And the follow-up on funding is local as well. So in Canada, it's IRAP that has funding for Eureka projects. It doesn't mean you cannot get funding from other national programs or provincial, but the other programs might not know Eureka. So the question is, our office will work with them if they fund your project as a Canadian, and we will provide some service to synchronize with the other country involved in the project. The clusters is a different beast. It is not made typically for the same projects as Eureka Network. We're looking at typically 6 participants, 10, 15, 20 participants, with maybe a multinational or 2 in the middle of the project, and participants, SMEs, large firm universities in 3 to 5 countries. That is a typical cluster project. There might be smaller projects in the clusters, 2 or 3 participants like Eureka Network. But in that case, you know, you might think if you have the opportunity between Chile and Canada and you have 2 or 3 partners, your first idea should be Eureka Network. The cluster project, they charge a fee. For network projects, there is no fee charged by Eureka, but the clusters, they do charge a fee for a service. The service is expert advice to help drive and manage projects that are larger. So that is one reason to use the clusters. I see, I mentioned here that Canada funds all the clusters. That includes SMART and Eureka that Chile mentioned. I will have to update my slide. I took information from the Eureka site, which needs an update on their side. Here I would put SMART and Eureka for Chile. The evaluation with clusters there's a central evaluation. So the international project is first evaluated by the cluster itself, and then national funding can occur for projects that will have been selected by the cluster as being worthy of the Eureka label. Each of the cluster will issue a call at least once a year, some clusters twice a year, like Celtic. SMART is once a year. Euroja is, I think, 3 times a year. So it varies for each cluster, but for all the clusters, you have a busy season in the fall in announcing the calls, and then firms preparing project outlines or full project proposals. Who can participate in Eureka projects? So it's not just for SMEs or for industry. In all the countries in Eureka, any type of organization can participate in the Eureka project. Since the last 10 years, we've had participants with Canadian firms. Canadian firms, we fund SMEs, so they fund the bulk of what we see in Canada in Eureka projects. But they've had partners, funded or not, that were large firms or research centers and universities in the foreign countries where the partners are located. However, participate in Eureka projects, anybody can participate, not everybody can get funded. So funding for Eureka projects is decentralized. Each country funds who they want. The national funding authorities, there is at least one for each Eureka country. They will fund participants only in their country, typically. And they decide who they fund. They can fund SMEs. So in Chile, you fund industries like Canada, but you fund smaller companies, but also larger companies. In Canada, IRAP funds SMEs up to 500 employees full-time equivalents. But again, you can get funding as a Canadian university to participate in the Eureka project, but it comes from your regular funding sources. The national funding authorities that provide funding, they decide on the modality, and with Eureka Network, it varies a lot. Except for one program, which is called Eurostars, in which Canada participates, where funding is always grant type for all participants in all countries. And each national funding authority decides what project activities they fund. Yes, the projects are about R&D for technological innovation, but when we get down to the details, there are some types of activities that each country will fund and others they will not. So there are 2 types of criteria for eligibility. There's the project itself, and then there's the participants according to national funding rules. So the project itself, when you submit a Eureka project, there are basic rules by Eureka, mentioned by Jocelyn. Some of those criteria. One of the criteria is you cannot have one participant or country that is responsible for more than 70% of the estimated total project budget. So it has to be a collaboration. There has to be a certain balance. So all those rules, basic rules by the Eureka, the project has to be in the civilian area. It cannot be military. It's the only exclusion in terms of industry and technology is that it has to be civilian. But the call itself, if there's a call on the Eureka Network, whether it's a thematic call in green tech or it's a call between Chile, Canada, and France, the call itself might have restrictions, and then each country might have also rules related to the call. Here is the link which you can follow and reach out. You'll have a copy of this presentation. This link goes to Canada's page about our calls, all our international calls, and there's a call page for each call in which we provide funding support. And as a Canadian participant, you should go there and read carefully that page, and you can call us if you have any questions. But here you might see what are the rules and how it proceeds and how you get funding. The participants themselves, they have to contact their national funding authority on the Eureka contact to ensure that they understand well not only how Eureka is working, how the call is doing, but also what are the rules of the organization in your country for Eureka project. So in Canada, we again support SMEs, but for international projects, we have a preference for scale-ups rather than startups. Scale-ups and more, at least 15 employees, $500,000 in annual revenue. It is flexible if a company is in a dynamic that is bringing them close to that threshold. We also consider alternate business model. If you're a biopharma company, you're not a revenue play, you're an equity play. We take that into consideration. Funding in IRAP is non-refundable, or grant type. It is dispersed as the project goes along. So that's good for your cash flow. We typically support up to half of the project costs, and we focus on R&D salaries and a generous measure of overhead over that. And we can support contractor costs that are R&D work in the project. We have a maximum of $500,000 in funding for each, not for each project, but for each SME in a Eureka project. And we will typically only support one international project at a time for a given SME. If you're not eligible for IRAP funding, if you're university, research centers, large firms, what's your reason to be in a Eureka project? Well, you might be a contractor for an IRAP funded SME. With a good deal for you as a university is that instead of being partly funded for your project activity, you get funded 100% paid by the SME, and we reimburse the SME 50% of that. But it means that the SME is expected to get technology and IT rights from what you do for them. But then again, as a university, it reaches your technology transfer goals. I expect you have that. You may still receive funding from other programs, but they might not know Eureka. So they will discuss with us, and we will try and see if and when there's a decision, if it is allowable as we are going forward with a project in which you have to say that you're good for your commitment in the project, that you can self-fund your part when you apply for a Eureka project coordinated by us. The Eureka Network call process, there's a generic part to that. That's the standard process. The call opens, the participants submit the Eureka proposal on what is called a Smart Simple platform. Each country has a national Eureka office that will evaluate the Eureka proposal and will select. So each country will have typically a national shortlist if it's a call that is structured with a start date and end date, but some countries are open all year. You can submit a project at any time, and they will just evaluate it independently and see if it is worthy of the Eureka label of quality. So the national Eureka offices involved in a given project, like Canada, Chile, Eureka Network Projects, they will decide if it reaches that quality threshold, and it might get the Eureka label at that point in time, or as we do very frequently in Canada in our times, we will see the hazard quality, but we will wait until the end, until the project is funded before we announce the label, so that we don't have to tell companies that had applied but were not selected for funding and tell them, oh, we must withdraw the label. Very sad. After the Eureka offices have jointly selected the Eureka proposal for quality, the participants typically can submit funding. And Canada and Chile work the same way. We do the Eureka part, and then the pre-selected one will submit their national funding application to Corfo in Chile and the Canadians to IRAP in Canada. In some Eureka calls, there are some countries that require that their participants submit their national funding proposal at the same time as the Eureka proposal, and they evaluate everything in one go. After funding proposals have been submitted, each country evaluates that and approves funding. If one has approved before the other, they might allow for the project to start, or they might tell the participant, we will hold until we get the answer from the other side. So in the question of this Canada call, in which the participants can be from any country in the world in any sector, we have to synchronize our actions and activities, and we will synchronize with all the countries in which our participants have partners. If a project is selected and funding is in place in all countries, and self-funding, by the way, is allowed, you can have a participant that wants to be part of the project for strategic reasons, or they get funding from another source, so they are self-funded relative to Eureka, to IRAP in Canada. They're self-funded. So funding in place, self-funding in place, the project is started, we finalize the Eureka labels as the project is starting, actually. In more detail, for this Canada call, from the point of view of Canada, what's the calendar? So within that, the call opens, but the Canadian participants, as I said, they have to be IRAP clients in order to get funding from us. And we posted on our call page, there's the link. When you have a presentation, it says you click on the link below, the light blue one, or you can search that, you'll find it on the web. The Canadians have to register with us so that we can onboard them as our clients in time. They have to submit to us a project outline, so an expression of interest, so that we can see with their IRAP advisor, is it a good idea for them to submit a full project proposal or isn't it? And maybe we have other means to support them than that project. The participants, they prepare and submit the proposal by May 31st. So they have to log in on the Smart Simple platform, or they create an account on that platform. From there, the participants, they will go to the open call. Each country has an open call. When you look at the list of calls available for you, when you call in, you log in as a Chilean or Canadian. So you can select the open call. That's the tool that will be used also for Canadians in our network Canada, Eureka Network Canada call. We will not have set up a separate, label for a Canada call. Just use a Canada open call, it works. And you submit the Eureka proposal. Canadian participants will also have to submit an annex in which we ask information that is not provided in the Eureka proposal. The evaluation part, so national Eureka offices, Corfo and NRC, IRAP evaluate. I expect that all the answers of that set will be finalized by end of July, maybe mid-July, as we synchronize with Chile. If we have projects with other countries, it might vary. In fact, it varies a lot. Like the standard process for Eureka Network, we jointly select the proposal. You can submit your national funding to IRAP for Canadians. We evaluate, everything is finalized. I expect projects start in Canada, the Canadian participants, to be September, October, November, depends. But with Chilean participants, I know Corfo is very diligent and works fast. So that's pretty much the window. Some projects might even start earlier than that. Here are the links. There's the Eureka website itself. Each country has a page on the Eureka website. Canada provides a few information. There is on the Eureka website a page for the calls that will link you to the application platform called Smart Simple. But in Canada, for Canadians, you should look at this call's detail under our international opportunity, and you can subscribe to receive bi-weekly updates of the calls that we issue. And here's my email. It will be my pleasure to answer your questions in English, en français, et puedo leer en español.
Thank you very much, Eric, for your presentation. And I guess definitely you touched a lot of topics that are very relevant for this collaboration between Canada and Chile. So now I want to introduce Oscar Canales from AndesMed. This is a unique organization that has different companies of the value chain, of mining. So Oscar, please.
Can I share now?
You can share.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay. Hello, my name is Oscar Canales. I am Executive Director of AndesMed. AndesMed is an association that brings together mining suppliers and supports them in their internationalization process. We organize together with Endeavor and Chile Canada Chamber of Commerce the Canada 2024 mission during the days of PDAC. Important mining institutions in Chile collaborate with us. Maybe 50 mining suppliers from Chile will participate in this mission. During those days, we will have meetings with 6 large mining, 3 mining vendors, research centers, provinces of Canada, matchings, and the most important in this occasion, the matching session Corfo Eureka, which was we are talking about in this meeting. We support this activity with Corfo, and this is, can I talk about our participation, Christian?
Yes, please. Yes.
Hello?
Yes, Oscar, yes.
Perfect. I am okay, Christian.
Thank you for that, Oscar. And the role of Andesmet in this collaboration, as well as the purpose of Andesmet in Canada. So now I want to handle over Gonzalo Yun. He is the commercial head of Endeavor. And I want to also talk about a little bit this because Gonzalo will explain about the platform that it will help us for the matchmaking event that we will soon be talking about after his presentation. Gonzalo, the stage is yours.
Thanks. Let me introduce myself. I'm Gonzalo Yuren, manager at Endeavor Atacama. I live here in Antofagasta. We're working, as Oscar said, with the Chamber of Canada, more than looking for opportunity for technology entrepreneurs from Chile and Canada. But we are working right now with Corfo. We are going to help, like, for looking for a match between, like everyone here recently, companies between our development center from Canada and few companies. We are working to have a tour for the PAC 2 weeks more, which is not so fast. What we are doing right now, we are working with Corfo. We are going to send you a link, one in Spanish and in English. And that form, you can explain your name of your company, what you're doing, if you're going to be on the PAC in 2 weeks more. And then when the companies we're going to be part of in Canada, we're going to share a second link, and then you can select their companies that are going between in Canada, also from Chile. And then we are going to provide a day and a place where you can have a meeting each other's. We're working as soon as possible with the Christian, with the forum. As soon as we have the link, the team from Corfo will going to send you, all of you, to it. We already signed up for this meeting. In that process, any doubt you have, I think Christian, the better word if you contact you guys, and then we can give you more information about the platform and the connection you are going to have for the PAC program.
All right. Thanks, Gonzalo, for that. Yeah, as soon as we have that, we'll share to all of you, and we will have the list of attendance for the platform. Now I'm going to share my screen, and I want to explain a little bit more about the matchmaking event that we have organized for all of you that are going into Canada to the PAC. Can you see it?
Yeah, perfect.
Thank you, Jocelyn. So for the matchmaking event that we have organized with the National Research Council of Canada and with the support of the Canadian Chilean Chamber of Commerce, as well as Andesmet and Endeavor, we will have an event where companies that are going into the PDAC convention, can meet from the Chilean side and from the Canadian side. This event will provide the opportunity to make a little bit closer relationship between Chilean and Canadian companies, as well as to start to think about the idea that they want to develop. in terms of innovation through research and development. In this case, the matchmaking event, it will be, since we will be working with the PDAC convention, it will be regarding mining. However, we encourage all companies interested in this collaboration with Canada to submit their registrations through the platform that Gonzalo just mentioned, since we will offer an online session and technical advice to the ones that cannot attend or to the ones that are not in the mining sectors. The proposed agenda for this matchmaking event, it will be that Justin will start talking about the scope of the call, as well as Eric will review a little bit the application procedures of this call. Then we'll have a little break to set up well the room, and we'll offer a little bit more than 2 hours of business and roundtables where prospective applicants will have the chance to request meetings to this Sequoia platform and then meet in person at this event. This event has been, it's been promoted by Corfo and the National Research Council, but also it will be promoted by PDAC, so we hope to have a good number of attendants. This presentation will be shared to all of you, so you will see the register link, and there is a form here that we will also share with Endeavor, so the link for the Koyak platform will be shared to all of you. So, well, thanks for all regarding this topic.
Great.